And we're back. All right. So we rejoin our adventurers in the basement of Cloudbreaker Bastion, having just dispatched two quasi-humanoid squid-like entities that were in the midst of conducting some sort of ceremony around a rather large well in the basement.
Well.
We'll start off. I need to start off with some perception checks here for me, just to see who notices what first.
Well, my passive is 16. I rolled lower than that.
I got a 19.
I got a 17.
All right. Well, Learas, you notice first the light down here, although whatever ceremony they were conducting was interrupted, there are sconces on the wall with torches in them, which, if anything that Alvatende told you has been remotely accurate, have been down here for hundreds of years. Some of them that are in the radius of that weird time dilation effect that was causing you to speed up and slow down while you were running. Last time, you remember, during the combat, randomly your movement was doubled or halved. Some of the torches that were in that area of effect are alight with a faint purplish energy burning where you would expect a flame to be. And you feel a draft.
Yeah, I mean...
Are you sure he's not immune to feeling drafts?
It's a warm draft.
Okay.
Whoa, it's toasty in here. Can I tell what direction the draft is coming from?
Yeah, it's coming from back the way from where you are now in this sort of pillared hallway. It's coming back from the direction of the well.
Interesting. Any of you noticing that? And he points at the purplish flames.
Oh, yeah. Y'all can for sure see it.
Yes.
Doesn't seem normal.
None of what we've seen around here seems very normal. At least not to me.
Normal is quickly losing its meaning to us.
Right. That's fair. Still, I'm gonna go back towards the well and see if the draft might be coming from it.
Is the draft going in or out?
Interesting question. Yeah. How close do you tell me how you investigate this?
Well, whenever a DM tells you how close, the correct answer is not that close.
Do you touch it?
I kind of want to get with, not at the edge of it, but close enough that I can, kind of stick a hand out and see if the air's coming out that way.
Yeah. You stick a hand out sort of towards the edge of the well. The sides come up to just about your head level. This is sized for someone who's 20 feet tall.
So are you commenting on Learas's height right now?
Yes.
Rude.
Yes, I am. But yeah, you can feel that there is a now almost hot draft coming up out of this well.
There's hot air coming out of this.
And it's the more time you spend in here, it's getting humid and muggy.
I don't know what to make of that.
Me neither.
I'm gonna go stand up beside Learas.
Would I be familiar with what would be causing the strange purple energy?
Make an Arcana check for me.
Do you want me to boost you up, Cam, and you can take a peek in without getting too close?
14.
Sure.
Yeah. So with a 14, Wade, you take you spend a moment looking at these torches, and it looks like it's when you look at it closer, you notice it's not a flame that is burning. It looks like the enchantment of an ever burning torch, but for some reason it's purple.
Okay. That's
hard to say exactly what happened, but maybe these, latent, formerly enchanted magical things caught some of the stray energy from this ceremony and reignited.
Okay. Torch burning forever.
Is that what Wade says?
So Learas is gonna boost Cam up so she can take a peek in
Uppies.
there without like
Uppies from someone almost
Shorter.
as tall as you.
I'm not lifting her up in there, just enough for her to step up and pee her over it,
Yeah.
She starts climbing in. Just kidding.
Okay.
Totally kidding.
Wait, we're gonna need a minute.
Yeah. No, I have that map ready. Yeah, so you look down into the well and you see maybe 30 or 40 feet below ground level some shimmering bluish, purplish, like little swirls of gold and
Oh, it's very
flecks
pretty.
of white light, flitting around, just sort of making a little bit of a cloud. And you can definitely there is hot air coming up out of here.
Does it look like it's like almost like it's boiling or something?
There are some similarities with what boiling water would look like, but this is not water. This looks like maybe a mist or something like that.
Looks like maybe they were brewing something magically, maybe? I'm not the best at this sort of thing. As she's looking down at you.
But you do magic. I thought maybe you would.
I mean, I don't
you know-
study it. That's more Wade's thing.
That's, her magic is like a divine type of magic.
I am magical. It's not that I've studied other people's magic.
It's kind of like my magic then. Divinely bestowed upon me by nature and the sea.
Exactly.
See.
Bog.
Well, why don't you wait in here and take a look then?
Wait, can I get a 21 pun salute, please?
Come on,
she's
she's
this
waiting.
might
Oh my god. We gotta. Okay, Cam's going to kind of step back down and gesture to Learas, who's probably still in the same position. Maybe you should take a look at it, Wade. Maybe you could glean more than I can.
sure.
If not, we could always use magic.
Yeah, I'll boost Wade up, and like immediately he's like, "Oh wow, you're so much lighter than Cam."
Do I know what's going on in this well?
You see the same thing that I described to Cam. What sort of how would Wade go about investigating this?
Does create or destroy water work? this scenario?
We're gonna find some water one day.
Oh my god.
You can certainly try.
You did say it was kind of bubbling and roiling and cloud-like, right?
We did use it that one time to dry out that room.
Yeah.
And remove 1 cube of snow from the blizzard for a second.
For 1 second.
Yeah, I'll try create or destroy water. Preferably the destroy water part.
Okay. Yeah, so you focusing in on the like pink, bluey pink miasma thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the spell goes off, and it looks like some of it settles down for a moment, and the draft of air that comes out for the next few seconds is not humid. And then it goes back to being humid.
Well, that didn't do as much as I thought it would. I mean, maybe it'd be better to get Elvitinde down here.
Oh, she said she couldn't
fit, right?
Yeah, there would be.
Oh.
It's not impossible, but there would be some demolition that needs to happen to remove partially collapsed tunnel.
I have a terrible idea if we want to try that.
I like terrible ideas.
I'm always willing to listen to creative solutions.
I don't know if it'll help at all, but I'm curious to see if we can see what's below what we're seeing. And I may have a way to do that. I'm a little concerned about what might happen.
What is it? What is the idea exactly?
Well, I thought maybe if I can blow a gust of wind down at the center, I can push it to the side enough to see.
You've been granted advantage for this terrible idea if that makes your decision.
You're the best.
I was going to assume that you're going to jump in there and swim to the bottom, but that sounds like the better solution.
That is usually what we would do.
Yeah,
So you do not see. There is no visible water in this well.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like, I'm like, I don't even know what this substance is. I don't think that I'm going to come out of that scenario alive. Whatever it is, it probably can be pushed aside. I'm hoping. It might get on me in the process, and that's certainly a risk, but it's less risky than jumping into it.
I do have my dispelling magic prepared today, but I only have one use of it.
Well, I won't do it a second time, so although maybe it would be better to just do that on whatever this is.
Well, that's what I was saying. Maybe we could try that first, and then we'll try your thing after. But that does mean that if something comes out of this, I'm all out of some of my stronger magic.
Oh, I'm already there.
And I'm feeling pretty rough at the moment. But you know what they say, curiosity benefited the sea lion, so...
Is that what they say? You also... Did they possibly hear it from you, Wade?
No.
Oh.
I mean, perhaps they heard it from Learas.
So Learas made up this saying, but then he also references it.
Well, no, I didn't make up that saying. That's been in my family for years.
He's rather humble.
Would we like to dispel it?
Let me try my thing first.
Okay.
All right. Can you launch me?
He's already offering to lift you up.
Yeah, he's gonna leap up onto the edge of the well.
Easy enough to do. And what spell are you casting?
I'm gonna step
cast. Yeah, step back. That's a good call. I'm gonna cast Gust of Wind. as
What's the range on that? 60 feet?
innate spellcasting. Oh, that's a good question that I should have had an answer prepared for. I don't think it's that long. 15 feet away from you. Oh no, the line of strong wind is 60 feet. You are right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Things get pushed 15 feet away.
And what, it's 5 feet wide, 10 feet wide?
10 feet wide, yes.
Cool. Yeah, so you cast Gust of Wind down this well, and it punches a hole in whatever this substance is, and you see that it happens kind of quickly, but you're pretty perceptive. You would expect like a cloud of a gas sitting in a contained cylinder to be pushed kind of back up the edges if you're putting a gust of wind down the middle. It just it pushes the middle down about 10 feet, and then it seems to vanish, whatever mist was in the middle, as though it passed through some sort of something that is obscuring your vision on the other side.
It just went down and is out of sight. But what am I seeing then?
You're seeing the well continue down to the edge of your dark
60
vision.
Feet.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. All right. Well, it's too deep to see the bottom.
But I will know it. You stopped seeing the vapor before it passed out of the end of your vision. It's like it got erased.
Oh. I think this might be a portal.
I like those. Should we go in?
Special about this substance that makes the substance not go through the portal.
I think it did. I think it's coming out of the portal, though.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you're saying that wherever this portal leads to, there's a bunch of stuff oozing out of it?
There's some sort of pink gold cloud. I got those colors right?
Also blue with flecks of
Also
white.
blue. Oh, okay.
Looks a lot like that, actually.
Interesting. Do you know of any realm that has sort of a multicolored fog cloud that might seep out of a portal?
Anybody who wants to can make an Arcana or Religion check.
I really don't know that this would be within Learas's...
11.
I'll try religion, but
all the other planes he's really familiar with are like the plane of water.
16.
16
For religion. Yeah.
for religion. You let's see. Yeah, 16 will do it. You're one of the more likely places that this could be connected to, if it is indeed a portal, would be the Feywild.
Oh, Cam's eyes light up. Oh, I think I heard about this around the temple. Are any of you familiar with the Feywild?
Really?
What was that, Fel?
Not really, no.
Well, I hear it's a really beautiful place at the very least, so a bit confusing from what I've heard.
Fey creatures can be tricky, though.
They can be. What I find strange is I didn't think these things would be from there, which is kind of like.
I don't think they are. I think that maybe they were trying to shift the portal to a different plane.
Oh. Trying to use magic that was already there to go somewhere else.
In theory, I again, not my realm of expertise, but if you already have a portal, maybe retuning it is less resource intensive than creating one from scratch.
So then this is not at all connected to what they were trying to do.
Isn't that he's I think what Learas, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that perhaps there was a portal that already existed here that they were trying to connect to perhaps their original plane or whatever plane they wanted to connect it to.
That's my thinking. But it's just a guess. That's
Well, maybe we could ask Elvatende if there was a portal here that she's aware of.
That's a very good point. Our badges act as communication tools as well, right? With her?
In a way, it makes it easier for her to communicate with you.
Oh, I see. So we can't reach out to her through. We'd have to go back up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, when we were flying that tower over, it had portals.
That is true.
So it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to assume that this well, or it looks like a well, had a portal perhaps to the air or elemental plane or some other plane of existence. For whatever purpose this room served in the past.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We need to ask her about it, but we also came down here to stop these things. Maybe we should clear the rest of the rooms and make sure they're dealt with.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Cam, do you have any healing you can spare me? Or are you tapped out?
That's a good question.
I have a little, but my healing isn't as strong as yours.
She used her healing hands already. She will give him a second level healing word, which will be 10
Nice.
HP.
Thank you. That's got me up to about half.
So yeah, she just kind of holds her little moon amulet on her on the chain around her neck, and then says something that just sounds like a melodic harmony of choir singing for just a moment.
As your healing magic pours through him, his rainbow scales kind of shed, and you see some of the wounds close up, and then they regrow.
Our beautiful rainbow fish.
Gonna be a rainbow fish for another hour, so. All right. Thank you. Let's check the rest of this. Are these walls still doing all their shit, or like
they have stopped in whatever position they were in when the ritual was interrupted?
Yeah, they were definitely doing some reality warping shit.
Nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
It's fine.
Probably a result of trying to breach into their homeworld. Again, just a theory, but
I wonder what they were trying to do, though. Like, just go home?
bring something here.
I don't like the sound of that. That means we might have to come back here if they try again.
Well, hopefully that was the last of their advanced scouts, and that puts a stop to their plans.
Well, we should make sure that they're not doing anything else weird down here and do so quickly.
Yes, agreed.
There's like a door at the end of the stairs.
Yep,
where-
so off to the
door
west,
here.
out of the room with the well in it, there's some stairs going up, and there's a door there. There's also a door going north out of the room with the well in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Did we
there
want
was
to
a
check
door
that
right
one
there.
first?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize there was a door right there.
I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be like, oh well, I'll leave her to do that because then someone's gonna die for sure.
It's gonna be you.
I mean, you're probably not wrong. All right, yeah, we'll open this door and check it out.
So this door looks like it is barricaded from the inside a little bit. This door opens inwards, and something that sticks out is the barricading is sort of at like y'all's height, not in the hooks where a door bar would go on this
Right.
door.
Yeah, so it was clearly these things that were trying to stop anyone from coming in.
But you're able to undo any sort of that stuff with just a little bit of time, and you open the door and you're greeted with a blast of cold air, and there's kind of this condensation that happens almost in this doorway as the hot air that's pouring out of the well meets the cold air coming in from outside, and there's like this little barrier of fog that starts to kind of fill this hallway and pour down.
Learas is suddenly very wet.
But yeah, this appears to go outside, and it looks like there's debris and some tools here. It looks like this was recently excavated.
I gotta go forward.
Yeah, let's check out those stairs.
Are these like medium creature tools, or are these like Elvitunde size tools?
These are like medium creature sized tools.
Okay, so this far wall that's been like recently excavated, is there a passage through it? Or is it like something they were digging from this side into still?
It looks like there used to be a passage here that got filled in with snow and ice over the years. Because you don't see any sort of stonework, like any rubble stone.
Interesting.
And in places on the floor, you can see like worked tile, like the rest of this basement area here.
So were they trying to get out? Like, I don't understand. Maybe somebody else was here while she was missing. What's up these? Is that stairs to the east of us?
It looks like there's some stairs emerging, but there is just a wall of packed snow.
This place is very strange.
Yeah, I think we are snowed in here.
And then this does go to the outside, should you want to go outside.
Wait, do you want to destroy some water and we can go outside from here?
Oh, you don't need to destroy any water to go outside. You can just go. This is fully open to the outside.
So the right is snow and the forward is outside?
Yeah, so it's like both, like you can kind of see like they have excavated a tunnel through what would have been a larger hallway that got filled in with snow.
I see. Okay, that's what I was asking the first time, and I feel like I misunderstood.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's not stone, it's snow and ice, but they did excavate a tunnel through it.
Yeah.
So that's probably their entry point. Interesting. I wouldn't mind tracking back out that way to see where they came from, but again, higher priorities at the moment.
Yes, we should make sure that they're not causing a current problem for El Batende.
Right. All right, let's check the other rooms. And when we go through the door, I'm going to re-barricade it because I don't want more spilling in while we're busy.
Good call. All right.
Smart. So should we go check out this area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can lead the way. I'll follow.
Right. So you head back in and head towards the top end of that hallway. And there are before you some large steps leading up to looks like a carved relief of some giant. You can make a religion check for me if you want.
No,
and on
we were
either
just gonna
side,
go, that's a relief.
on either side, sort of the entryway, there are large braziers that could be lit, but currently are not. This looks like a small shrine.
I did roll and I got a 0. So
Who knows?
On a religion check?
yeah, I don't have proficiency in religion.
Well, I rolled a 16 and for a total of 20.
Very nice.
I also do not have proficiency in religion.
I have a -2.
Mort. So that's a dirty 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hard to say exactly which deity this is. This is some sort of giant deity, not Amon, the main deity, the creator god of the giants, but some other, most likely lesser deity.
If it's not Amon, is it a Woman?
Hey, no, it's not. It's a dude up there.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's her boyfriend.
Oh, that would
Anam.
be...
Anam, not Aman. Anam.
I was wondering if you had changed the deity or if you just.
Nope, I just switched the M's and N's.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would be very romantic to get a carving of your boyfriend.
But I suppose, yeah.
I mean, if her boyfriend's a deity, then, she's doing all for herself, right?
That's a deity?
Of some sort.
How can you tell?
Just knowledge.
There's certain about like the placement of this, the angle with which this relief is carved is like is designed to be like looking down upon whoever is viewing in this area, even if they were giant size. Is very what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of like a protective yet sort of superior energy that is embodied in the way that this is carved.
It's fair. I feel like Learas specifically is like so not familiar with the concept of worshipping a god that he just doesn't understand the context.
Well, you see, they're trying to make it look like that this person's better than you. That's how you tell it's like they trying to make it a god.
I mean, if it was a god, shouldn't he be better than me by example?
I mean, it depends on what they're a god of and whether or not they have similar beliefs.
So not all of them are good.
And the term good is also subjective.
Yeah, this is why I don't get into these kinds of things. Those temples in town seem fine, but you know, they're for people with smaller things to worry about.
Like carving reliefs.
Well, I wouldn't mind having a carving of me one day. I think that would be very cool.
I think
Lots
you'd
of
make
glitter?
a fetching carving.
Thank you.
Glitter,
Yes, it would-
gold, silver.
We would definitely need some glitter on it.
I would expect it to have glitter and gold.
Okay.
So, continue then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Walking
so
the top,
there
so-
anything down here?
I'll just
Is there
go
anything
ahead
on
and
this creature? Does this
Um,
creature have any...
Yeah, we didn't
anything
check,
of
did
note?
we?
Yeah, we did that.
No, not yet.
well do a investigate.
Investigate. Can someone help me investigate?
I
Okay.
can help you investigate.
Oh, good, because that's not a good number to roll.
Oh,
A total of 15 with help. Otherwise
This
it would
creature
have been-
does not appear to be wearing any clothes or carrying much stuff with it. There is, you do find, sort of leaning up against the wall, a small satchel that has, appears to be made of some sort of strange, rough leather, very similar to the sort of skin that these creatures have, that pale, milky white tone. And it's, when you open up inside, there's stuff that you recognize immediately as magical components.
I immediately
some-
recognize these as magical components.
There's like some special inks for writing sigils, various different crystals, and some. I don't know if y'all can hear that. But there's a squirrel yelling at me from
I
like 3
can
feet
hear it.
outside my
Yeah.
window.
Are those the same kinds of components that you use, Wade?
Some are, some are not.
It's interesting. I just use these seashells.
Did you get them by the seashore?
I I did from a man named Carl. I call him Coral.
Wow.
unhinged.
You know, it is strange, and I don't know if this leather is from the skin of these creatures.
Ooh,
But
don't,
it is-
don't put your hand in that.
It is strange that it would resemble them.
I
And
agree.
if, like,
Maybe they made it out of one of their kin.
I don't like
That's-
that. They didn't
Moving
seem like
on,
very
moving on.
nice creatures, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't like it. Would they make one out of us if they had the opportunity to? I don't like to think about it, but I'm curious.
Well,
at
I'm
least mine
not.
would be a nice shade of blue.
Are you saying that I'm not a nice shade of blue?
I did not say that, no.
But only yours would be a nice shade of blue.
No, see, like yours, you have like those very nice scales. I do not have that.
I don't always have them.
I think
But-
you would make a very pretty pouch, Learas.
I don't. That's not what I want. I want to be clear. I don't want to be made into a pouch. I'm
It
just.
seemed like you did.
I just didn't like the connotation that maybe his shade of blue is nicer than mine.
Well, do you think that yours is a nicer shade?
I never really thought about it before.
I'm just saying. Everyone's allowed to have their own preferences.
I think I'm a fine shade of blue. My father was this shade of blue.
We're walking and talking.
All right.
We're gonna,
All right.
I'm at the door.
You're gonna open up the door.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and reveal the whole map. Y'all spend probably the better
Yeah.
part of like 20 minutes combing through the various rooms down here.
That's how long
and
we've been spouting nonsense.
Yep.
There are no more of these creatures that you can find.
Anything of note? Anything
Nope.
interesting?
Yeah, so this room that you were about to go into looks like it was purpose-built as some sort of meeting room. There's some remnants of furniture in there that looks like there were seats in these 3 alcoves. It looked like
Like giant
even-
size?
they are giant-sized.
Hmm.
It looks like this was a place for maybe 3 different factions to meet in here. A lot of the southern part of the building has been warped and twisted. It's difficult to navigate through. And then there's some various other storage rooms. One room far off to the easternmost part that has just collapsed in on itself. That looks more like a product of time than anything else. And some other little like storage areas and nooks, multi-purpose rooms. Kind of hard to say what they would have been used for, as they have been long since cleared out.
Gaming cave and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's head back up and report our findings.
Sounds good. And y'all head back up the stairs. After this time, and find Alvatende pretty much where you left her. She's kind of leaning up against the wall here, sitting and just like catching her breath, tending to her wounds. It looks like she's in the middle of a short rest for functional purposes.
She deserves it.
That's a good idea. I'll take one as well.
All right, yeah.
Gonna come sit up in front, like cross-legged.
I take it you stopped whatever they were doing?
It certainly
Well-
seems that way.
Yes. But was there? Are you familiar with that room down there?
Why, there's a good number of rooms in the lower level.
Are you familiar with the well?
Oh, yes. Where I used to get a lot of my water from.
So there was primarily just water there.
Yes.
There wasn't
did that
anything
water-
with magical significance there before.
It wasn't
You
like
happen-
connected to the elemental plane. It's part of the water.
Did you put a bucket down into a portal and then pull water back up out of it?
No, is that concerning? There's not been a portal in the well as long as I've lived here, although the building is
There-
very old.
There appears to be one now.
Something of the sort. Are you familiar with a bluish pink miasma type? I don't know what you'd call that. It's in the well now, and we tried to get rid of it, and it seems to be coming out of perhaps a portal or something. We're not really sure.
Camriel seems
really-
to believe it's a portal to the Feywild.
I'm gonna have her make an Arcana check. It's difficult to say without being able to see it, but if it is as you describe, it could be a portal to the Feywild that they opened down there. Don't know kind of gestures at one of these, betentacled giants, and it's like, those are not Fae.
That's what I was saying. I thought maybe there was already a portal there and they were trying to tune it to their plane.
So there was that room north of the well that was packed with snow, which is how we believe some of them got in.
Yes, they seem to dig their way in.
That would explain how they got in. So they didn't come in. They started pouring out of the stairs on all different kinds of. She gestures towards the one that you went down, and then there's some other staircases off in different rooms that she points in the general direction of. But you mentioned the Fae. So this castle, I believe, as I told you at your first visit, this bastion was built by Fomorians in many millennia ago, and the relief that you noticed in the basement is of their patron deity Karantor as he was. It's interesting that you mentioned the Feywild. At some point in the past, before the Fomorians were banished largely to the Underdark, and twisted into the forms that they inhabit now, at the direction of their god Karantor, they launched a siege on the Feywild, and their banishment was punishment for their arrogance in thinking that they could upset the ordering and claim an entire plane for their own.
Oh.
Perhaps
so Fomorians were giants before they were twisted into the fiends they are now.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I'm sorry, who are the Fomorians?
Are you asking that to
Just the general.
or
Learas kind of gives you a quick, they're just wretched, vile monsters. They associate with devilkin and demons. They're outsiders with no home anymore.
And do you think that they were trying to maybe cause more trouble in the Feywild then?
Well, these things aren't Fomorians either, are they?
No.
Oh.
There are no Morians now.
Well, this is all very confusing.
It's very confusing. I have heard of creatures from the far realm, though, that it can twist beings into something different, something with more tentacles.
Kind of looks down at the various piles of bodies on the floor.
I would like to examine one of them. I don't really have a skill that's likely to pay off, but I don't know. I've at least dealt with things in nature and killed a number of monsters. Maybe I can glean something.
Yeah. You can make a nature check if you want to, or some other kind of check.
I'm not sure I have anything else that's actually going to be better.
I can investigate these creatures if that's what we're doing. Are we doing that?
That's a total of 5 for my nature check.
Nice.
If you want to investigate them, by all means, I'll just slice into them and you can do the rest.
You rolling something, pal?
Yeah, let's do that. It's 25 for investigation.
Damn.
Nice.
Which would include pilfering, looting.
So, much like the creatures downstairs, like these didn't look like they have much use for possessions. They're, the one primary head with sort of a beard of tentacles, and then a secondary head either growing out of the chest or the shoulder. Some of them have it kind of growing out of the back. Whatever these creatures are, you, Wade, can very much say that they are not natural, and they were somehow changed to be this way. I'll put a little picture, a full picture of one in our Discord, so y'all guys can see that what you saw before they were dead on the ground.
They got the dad bod going.
So he does, after investigating them, believe that they were changed into this.
Yes.
These creatures appear to have been mutated from whatever they once were. Just they don't appear natural.
I'll say also, and I know it was an investigation check, but with a 20, there is a kind of giant kin called an Etten, which is known for having two heads, much like these do, and are of roughly similar size.
Perhaps originally Etten? Maybe?
So Fomorians and Ettins, both at the very bottom of the ordning, somehow afflicted by something of the far realm, possibly invaded this fortress and is attempting to storm the Feywild once more. What in the nine hells are we involved in here? What?
Well, won't this help you be like the great adventurer with all the honor and stuff if we are involved with something this big?
I suppose, but our town has rather urgent needs as well. And this seems, I don't know, insane comes to mind, but it seems a little bit out of my jurisdiction normally. Alvatinde, what do you make of all this?
Well, so I'm impressed by your knowledge of the ordning. It was not always so that Fomorians were at the bottom. At one point, before their banishment to the Underdark, they did occupy a spot in the ordning between hill and stone giants.
Were they... I thought the whole thing was based on size, but perhaps my knowledge is skewed. Were they once larger than they are now?
They were they were taller, and they were much more keen of mind. In the research that I've been able to put together, they concern themselves primarily with the studies of Arcana.
And just being banished alone has caused them to degrade to the monsters I'm familiar with?
The Underdark can have that effect on creatures. Many entities that live down there are twisted forms of ones that you find on the surface, and they were also cursed by the gods for their arrogance in attempting to siege the entire Feywild.
Gods sure do love their curses, don't they? It's interesting. I never knew such history of these creatures. I've slain a few in my time, Ettins as well.
Have you?
They've been wandering these hills for some time.
That is no easy feat. No, you have my congratulations on being able to face any sort of giantkin and live to tell.
With the right preparation, anything can be taken down.
This is true.
That's not insulting to you, is it, Elvatende?
It. It's not insulting. It's disquieting to acknowledge that it is true. My people do not regularly encounter many things that can pose us a significant challenge.
Yes, I can see why, too. Fighting alongside you has been eye-opening, to say the least. I have a long way to go.
I must ask, did the three of you hear that voice as well?
Oh, you heard it.
I wasn't aware that you heard it. Yes.
we did. What do you think it means? It seemed like a threat to us.
I think that's exactly what it was. Something is aware specifically of who we are now.
I've been troubled of late by creatures of a certain psionic persuasion. As have you been, actually. What happened with that Nothic?
Just points to it on the
Oh,
ground.
wait, there are several Nothics about. Right.
Yeah, and if you
yes.
spend any amount of time walking around in other rooms up here, there are maybe dozens of these creatures.
Right.
I think he meant the one that we left with you.
And the one that attacked me and when we were making camp.
Well, who knows what happened to the one that attacked you while making camp, but I was attempting to locate it to scare it away, and this is where one appears. Usually many more do, but they don't. Sort of kicks at one of the altered Ettins with her foot. They don't usually bring these with them.
Right. Do you think that voice may have been the commander of whatever these are? The one who is making an army of these giantkin?
Certainly a possibility. I don't have any other good ideas at the moment that are any more plausible than that.
Perhaps the one at the whole heart of this mess.
Right. And it doesn't make sense to attack you. Why risk fighting another giant when their trouble is with the Feywild, except perhaps that well once was a portal for them.
Could be. I would need to get down there and look at it. It's going to take some... Well, you said there's an excavated tunnel now through outside.
Was that big enough for her to go through, or was it like...
It'd be a squeeze. Like, she could maybe crawl through it, but it'd be easier than trying to squeeze, because you guys had to squeeze
Easier
to get
than
down
rubble.
the stairs. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be tight, but perhaps Wade and his custom spell could make it a little bit easier for you.
I think we finished tending my wounds, and looks like you could use that as well, and then let's take a look.
Sounds good.
Get your short rest in.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Oh, there we go.
Well, I guess my My scales are gonna fall off again.
They were very handy.
If not for them, I'd probably have died. So. So I no longer have temporary HP. And now I'm up to 42 HP. Maybe I should roll one more. I'll roll one more. It's not a lot, you know. What is that? Wait, do you think there's any way that this is connected to what we're dealing with in Crystal Harbor?
Of course it is.
Could you explain?
Did you not
how?
hear that voice?
I did.
You heard that voice, right? It sounded like two different languages were speaking to us at the same time. Does that sound familiar?
But do we know it's the same voice as the one going through the crystals?
We don't know, but I mean...
It seems like there's a lot of
What are
transforming of creatures happening through contact with these substances that we're finding.
Right, but changing into a giant land squid and changing into a tree are very different things.
That is true, but it is a similar tactic, is what I mean.
Right.
There could be more than one commanding presence behind all of this.
You're right, and I guess just because it seems so different to me, I'm wondering, are we that lucky that we have two similar and completely different and separate, insane warlords bent on transforming beings at the same time, or do we really truly believe that this is all one problem?
Well, so far, most of our problems have seemed disconnected, and we've had to run all over the place to tend to each one of them. Maybe I'm wishful thinking, but I would hope so. I would hope that this is all one big problem together.
It would make it so much easier to solve.
That's what I'm saying.
What about this warlord Kalxos? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Were they giant?
No. Kalxos was started off as a human, just like you.
I'm not a human.
Yeah. There's no humans here. Never mind. Started off as just a human. She rose. Much history seems to have been lost. She rose to power following some profane rituals, I believe, finally transformed herself into a lich of some variety before being, it seems, felled in the battle, but as you know, I was not there for that.
Weren't we under the impression prior to now that somehow it was Kalxos who was communicating with people, controlling them through the crystals?
You had speculated that.
Perhaps they've just found a way to tap into what Kalxos was doing in the past. Kalxos still has, I assume possibly in ruin, there is a fortress near the straits, right?
Yes.
I would like to officially add that as a point of interest that we need to look into in the near future.
Going near the strait.
Not into the straits, just the the old fortress of Calxus. We need to know if there's something there, if there's a new army there, if there's a new warlord there, if Calxus is somehow back. I don't know. But I've been tracking criminals a long time, and my instincts point there.
Well, I always thought that our journey would take us in that region anyway. So if we have reason to believe we should be there sooner, I can't say I disagree with that.
Okay. But
We do have a
being,
busy few days, though.
Yes. We have many things that require our immediate attention. Alvatunde, if we leave investigating that portal in your well to you, perhaps we should follow the tracks that lead into your fortress.
So I would like to know where they came from. Do be careful if you venture to the north. It's, from what I'm able to understand, a road not often traveled anymore.
Yeah, it's a risk, but I think it's important that we figure out where this attack came from and if you're at risk of another.
If I am able to rest, I can attempt to. I've been there. And it's been 500 years, but I can attempt to try on it, assuming it's still in the same place.
You mean the fort?
Yes.
Fort Boss. Is that?
Yes.
That would be very helpful.
Be careful regarding what happened last time.
Yes, I'm not hoping for a repeat. I still have some of that headache.
Please do call us back here if something else happens. How often can you do that, by the way?
It takes a decent amount of energy, and it depends on how much else I've done that day.
Shame we don't have a way of traveling back and forth more easily.
Well, if I'm able to, if I ever have a chance to reestablish some of my supplies and repair some of this structure, I used to be able to do that. I have... She just looks around like a crumbling walls and years of work ahead of me.
And perhaps you should employ some of those miners from Sten's Gap.
Oh, yeah, they might be very helpful.
Sort of thinks about that for a moment. Well,
Many hands make light work.
I know I was seen by many on my way up here, but I was intending to fade into the background of events until I was able to reestablish myself. But it seems that something with malicious intent already knows that I'm here, so what's the harm, I guess?
We did kind of also mention you while we were in town.
Oh.
We were vague about the details.
Yes.
We advised that they kept their distance, but given the
That's
circumstances, perhaps an alliance would be better amongst the people here.
You should talk to our friend, Alexandra Caspary, if you do reach out.
The Casprys are still here.
Oh, you know of them? Then yes, they very much are.
I had dealings with one of them a long time ago. Being trapped in a magical stasis will do weird things to your perception, because it feels like a couple of weeks ago that I was getting ready to go to war.
So long as it wasn't them that trapped you.
I don't know who did. It's the fun part.
Oh, well, we'll add that to our list of things to investigate then.
Yes, but if you would take a message to this Alexandra, was it?
Yes.
Let her know that I may have some work for her people.
We
We'll
will.
do that.
Not quite sure how I'm going to pay them, but I'm sure I can come up with something.
I'm sure you have some gold lying around here somewhere.
Just looks around a largely empty room. Just a few pieces of giant-sized furniture that were too big to move.
If
There
need
may be.
we could always contribute a little bit to bridge the gap until you've recovered your assets.
If nothing else, it would be a very interesting project to at least talk to her about. I'm sure she'd be willing to lend an ear to it.
Can anybody who wants to make an insight check?
Yes, I do want to.
I'm pretty insightful, so
That's a
do it.
21.
21.
Wow.
That's an 8.
Yeah, the people who aren't Wade, when you offer to help her pay for this, it seems like she's doing her best to not show that she feels bad for feeling a little bit offended by that. I'm trying to tamp that feeling down. Well,
There's like a little bit of pride that I detect in you, Elvatende.
You are very insightful.
Well, you see, I don't like thinking about not having any money, so it's I don't like thinking about you not having any money either. And if you're our patron and you're helping us, it only makes sense that we would help you.
Well,
We
I
are
will
allies.
tell you what. We are allies, yes. I will tell you what. I'm going to see if they're willing to accept a barter. And if we are unable to come to an agreement without gold entering the picture, then I will take you up on that.
Sounds good. You know,
I mean, it only
sometimes I
makes
hear
sense.
that. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it only makes sense. We made some money just by letting the townsfolk know that, you have returned and that you mean no harm.
Fair enough, I suppose.
What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I've heard of people paying by means of spreading the word about like the work that people do. I think they call that like exposure.
I think you have the wrong term. I've definitely arrested people for exposure in town.
Oh,
Are they
I didn't-
exposing the town?
No, they were exposing themselves in town after being at the tavern for too long.
we just kind of like stacked on top of each other for that one.
Yeah. Teamwork. This concept of being paid in knowledge of your existence does not make much sense to me. How will you continue to support your existence if all that you are being paid in is knowledge of the fact that you exist?
I didn't follow that, but I would assume that yeah, that probably doesn't make much sense.
Well, she's saying that, for example, if I were to go out and arrest bounties, just for the knowledge that I'm out there arresting bounties so that other people might hire me, and then they only want to pay me for the knowledge, then I'd never make any money and I'd starve to death.
Oh. You should really pack more fruit. I'm just making
Wait, do you want to
references
give
to
this a shot, or
myself.
should we move on?
Yeah, so you finish your short rest.
Oh my god.
And would you believe it that we're already halfway through the stream? So let's take, I think, this short rest opportunity to take our own short rest, hydrate, do whatever else you need to do, and we'll be back here in a little bit.
Bye.
We're back. So I think just after we went on break, y'all had decided that y'all were going to corkboard.
We're gonna corkboard. Well, we've got the psycho giant creatures trail that leads north from Elvatinde's fortress. We've got the Harbor Watch crab situation. They also have monsters and stuff, but
we're more invested in the crabs.
We'll have to bring a lot of special made cones for them.
Oh god.
We want to check out Fort Oss at some point. That's not as urgent. And then we've got a number of fucking weird things going on in Crystal Harbor that we don't really have a source for. We're also supposed to meet back with the Hall of the Weave.
It would be really embarrassing if we called a meeting and then it didn't show up to it.
Does she have a way to send us back?
We have.
Yeah, if she's teleported you before, it'd be reasonable to assume that she could do it again.
Okay. So my thinking is priority 1, she needs rest anyway. Let her rest and look at this well. And we'll go north and try to find out where they came from, traveling no more than like half a day out because we have to come back. And then once we're back, she can scry on the fort. She can, maybe identify the well if she hasn't figured anything out yet, and send us back to Crystal Harbor so we can meet with the Hall. Does that make sense to everyone?
Tracks.
I mean, I trust your ability to prioritize things. I don't exactly know how long tracking is going to take.
Like you said, it depends on how far they came from.
Yeah, if we get, I'll follow them as best I can, as long as we can, and if I feel like the amount of time it's going to take us to get back will take us beyond our deadline, then we'll just come back.
That makes sense. Well, I didn't have to rest too much. Are you ready to go?
I'd feel better if I had a proper sleep, but I'm afraid there's not time for that.
The short rest doesn't do much for me.
Same. I can cast another spell, but that's about it.
I'm hoping to just identify where they came from. I'm not looking for another fight at the moment.
We'll do our best to avoid it.
All right. So you all head out of the bastion, and Elvatinde accompanies you only to see exactly where it is you're talking about that they got in from. And she's like, oh yeah, that door. Yeah, okay. I thought that was blocked. Cool. And then she kind of starts like shoving. It's like, well, before I need to take a look at this well. So, if you come back and I'm not upstairs, I'll be in here. And she kind of gets down on her hands and knees and starts kind of crawling, trying to push her way through. And she's able to do it, but it's slow going and it looks uncomfortable.
Do you want Wade to help? He can push from behind.
I don't think that'll be necessary.
It's like a Pooh Bear situation.
Right, and you would like to follow some tracks.
Yeah.
Sure would.
Let's follow them tracks.
Excuse me. So all around the entrance here, looks like there are a lot of tracks, all coming from one particular direction. This heads off. This exit is on the north side of the bastion, which is, so to orient it a little bit, the peak of the mountain that the bastion is sat upon is to the west. So going north would skirt around the peak. And just tell me what you're doing. Tell me how you're following these tracks, what y'all are looking for.
Well, I'm probably the most experienced tracker, so he's just trying to make sure that that they're not being led a false trail or anything, and trying to keep an eye on numbers so that they know if there might be others about.
I think Cam will also help because she's pretty decent in survival. Maybe not this particular creature, but yeah, I think she'll just kind of assist in pointing out anything that she's seeing, maybe following along the tracks as Learas, whenever Learas looks away from them to look for other things.
Sounds good.
Help by not getting in the way.
Right, there's sunlight in my eyes right now. I'm gonna be right back.
Wade, perhaps you should keep an eye out for other non-track related threats on the mountain.
Aye, Captain.
Oh my God.
Ow.
Oh man, that was really something.
Y'all keep dealing me psychic damage and I keep coming back. All right, yeah, so give me that survival check for me. If Cam's helping, please do so with advantage.
All right, I doubt it's going to help. It did not, so that is a 25.
25.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, so you are you're going for half a day's travel, basically.
Yeah. If it's gonna be much, it's about midday-ish, right?
Yeah.
Where we're at. Yeah. So we really don't have more than a half day to spare if we want to make that meeting.
It's a little bit before midday, but not a lot.
Yeah, but that's half a day out, half a day back, and then we also want to, scry and stuff if possible before we get sent back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so it's a pretty nice day up here on the mountain. It's clear skies, a little bit windy, but not too bad. You follow these tracks around the mountain, and it's easy to do. The survival check is not to follow the tracks. The survival check is to make sure that they're, authentic tracks, that these have not been, planted in some way. And you're very confident that you are following a genuine set of tracks in the snow. It looks like that these are maybe 2 days old by now. It took them some time to dig through.
Yeah.
But curiously, you do not find any indications of a camp in your half day's travel. And just towards the end of it, as you're getting to the point, it's okay, this isn't these tracks are going to keep going. We're going to have to turn around. Just as you're about ready to make that call, you see off in the distance sort of this rough snow or rough terrain. Like, you haven't been following a road. You see off in the distance, just kind of barely at the edge where you can make it out, it looks like it picks up a road that is, crossing perpendicular to this route of travel. And I'll say with that, what was that ridiculous number you rolled?
25.
Yeah. You would know, just based off of where you are and what direction that road is heading, that this little trail up the mountain that they were following before they broke off to come up behind looks like it would probably connect up with the old way, which is the road that leads from Crystal Harbor north around the mountains, around the swamp, and over to Yanura. And say with the 25, if you wanted to get to Fort Oss from here, that's one way you could go.
Right. But no sign of... Which way did the tracks go from here? When they
The
connected the road?
tracks first headed north.
Right, but they head east down the road towards the old way.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no camp, no hidden cave or anything like that, but from here they head east and
Make another nature check for me, and do this one with advantage.
all right. Oh, okay, that's a 20? No, 19.
Yeah, let's say you kind of hit on something earlier. You know a little bit. You know a thing or two about Ettins. They don't sleep.
Right, one of them's always awake.
Yep.
Well, I imagine with the Ettins, they probably could have made the whole trek in one go. No need to stop for camp when you don't sleep. So
No,
even
that's
a jump
curious.
from Fort Oss to here.
Though they don't sleep, one might assume that eventually their muscles would tire.
Giants
I
are
guess-
built pretty sturdy.
They are. Do we know about how far or how long it would take to travel to Fort Oss from here?
Yeah, I mean, it is a known area on a map. So you kind of have a general idea of where it is and how long it would take to get there. Let's see, I need to open up the map with the grid on it. I don't remember.
Totally fair.
Let's see. So from here, under good circumstances, let's see, it would take y'all on foot about a week from here.
There's a while.
Maybe a little bit less if you're 12 feet tall.
Yes. Yes, that does make sense.
Even if they stopped briefly to rest halfway, that would still leave it far out from where we're willing to travel.
Well, I suppose that'll have to. But that does
And
make
do
it
still
easier.
travel the old way. We could see if there's any rumors about giant creatures walking
Ooh.
the old way.
Ask around.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
I tend to have those.
You're very smart, Learas.
I have an instinct for this sort of thing.
I can tell. I'm sorry that I gave you such a hard time when we met. I really didn't mean to. I'm learning.
I admit, sometimes your words have barbs that you maybe did not intend, but you also have a certain charm about you. It's water under the bridge.
She just kind of gives an understanding nod.
I'm legit a little surprised she got that metaphor. So.
She definitely thought about asking Wade if he made that one up.
Right. Well, we should turn back if we're going to make it back in time. Honestly, this is probably the most convincing evidence I've seen yet that these things are connected.
So there's a lot of other places you can get to on the old way, but notably, none of the fearsome creatures from the bog on the other side of the mountains would be coming from this way. That's clear in the opposite direction.
Yes. Yeah, and this region, it's well known enough that I believe we would know if these things were just fucking wandering around in many of the places on the old way.
No.
They had to come from somewhere connected to it that they could get away with existing, really. The very fact that I haven't been given a bounty to kill these things already means that they've been hiding away somewhere.
So we go back to Elvatende.
Yes.
Do the next thing on our list.
Find out about the well, scry on the fort, get back for our meeting. We have a lot more to discuss now.
And if Elvatende isn't able to help us get back to the harbor, do we stop in Sten's Gap first to talk to our tiefling friend?
If that's the case, yes, though that would be upsetting if we have to miss our meeting. We'll call another one, I suppose.
I don't think they would like that very much.
I know they won't, but we have one of their own in our party, and what we discovered here only increases the urgency of our message.
It is true.
Either way, whichever thing we are going to miss, perhaps you could perform a sending on.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. She's gonna, I guess, just kind of bundle up a little bit better and start heading back.
And it's after dark by the time you all get back to the castle, or the bastion, rather. It's too small to call it too small for a giant to call it a castle. And if you're heading back the same way that you came, you can see as you approach the north side of the bastion that it looks like Elvatende has pretty well excavated the snow from this tunnel to the basement entrance through the walkout basement here in Stormbreaker Bastion.
She hasn't sealed it off or anything?
The door is there and closed, but the tunnel has been excavated. It looks like wanted to make it a little bit easier for herself to get in and out.
Yeah. All right.
This is probably going to be the new door until she can fix the stairs.
Is the door openable, or has she locked that in some capacity?
If you try, it's all these doors are very difficult to open because they're 30 feet tall and probably a solid 1.5 feet thick. Yeah, you are able to, working together, you're able to pry it open, and she kind of looks up, and she's like leaning over this well, peering down into it, and looks up surprised at you all. Whew. Any luck?
Well, we didn't find their point of origin, but I believe we have discerned where they came from. The tracks go east towards the old way, and I believe beyond that to Fort Oss.
Concerning. And someone new is taken up in there.
Yes, but on the bright side, it does consolidate our problems.
That is true. But you had some questions about this well. Camriel, you were absolutely correct. This does hold a portal to the Feywild, about halfway down the well.
Oh, it's very exciting. And I rarely get anything right like that. I guess things that are very sparkly and beautiful just kind of resonate and stick with me.
Wait, aren't your people originally from the Feywild?
I don't know if that's top
like
my player
a
head.
long time ago.
Yeah, you are an elf of some kind.
I guess I don't. I mean, it might have been like it's a long time ago.
That's fair.
I mean, and if Wade's not sure where his genocidum comes from, that's fine.
I thought he was a sea elf.
He's
Nope,
water genasi.
Water genasi.
Oh.
Got them mixed up.
Well,
They're all blue.
I got yeah. There's a lot of blue fish boys. All right, it's hard to keep it straight sometimes. I don't know why I thought you were a sea elf then.
You're more from the elemental plane.
Me too.
Okay.
Elemental plane boys.
Yo.
Well, what do we do with that information? Is that helpful
There's-
at all?
A little bit more. I think your speculation was correct. I think I've never gone down the well before, but there are runes carved on the inside that I've never looked for. It seems as though at one point there was a portal to the Feywild here and had been. It collapsed, closed, whatever, at some point in the past, and whatever they did reopened it.
I think they use some sort of time magic. I mean, when we came down here, like, there were pockets of, like, space that you would either move faster or slower in, and then the torches on the walls had this, like, like those ever-lit torches.
Yeah, they're still going.
So if they were just winding back the time in the room, why did the walls go all liquid?
If I've not yet been able to determine the nature of the ceremony that they were performing, but I'm working on that. I got distracted. I think, Wade, you might be the best positioned to look at this. There's something more here. And she'll, offer your help up onto the edge of the well. If you really focus on this portal for some time, and she's going to give you the help action. Can you make an Arcana check for me with advantage?
That's a good roll. That's an even better total of 21.
Ooh, boy, that's what you needed. 20 was what you needed. So you focus on this more intently than you did earlier, and you can feel a choice to focus on more of how do I want to say? You get the sense that you can focus on either displacement or strength. Those are the sort of concepts that present themselves to you as you're focusing in on this portal. Which one, if either, does Wade focus on?
Well, Wade not very strong. But they'll focus on displacement.
Okay. I had this open. Where'd it go? There it is. You focus in on this barrier between the worlds that has been, reestablished here, and some of this energy makes its way into your mind, and you find yourself with the ability to cast the spell Dimension Door once without using a spell slot. It lasts until you use it.
Nice. I can gain a spell by looking at this well.
That sounds swell.
If I have the ability to cast Dimension Door, I don't love the spell setting. I don't know.
That will be a 4th level spell.
I'm perplexed by this. I've heard tales of old wishing wells connected to the Fae. Is that what this is?
I think that this may have originally been one of the points that the Fomorians used to assault the Feywild from. This property of it that you were able to replicate, so I found that same potential in there and focused on it as well. That is not a property of any sort of portal that I am familiar with. It's very fascinating.
Wade's wondering if knowing or having the ability to cast the spell would sort of, if there's any way he could capture that knowledge and save it for later, to like save spells, known spells.
What mechanically is Foul hoping
Put it
for?
in the spell book.
Yeah, he wants to put it in the spell book, obviously.
If I can put it in my spell book, even if I don't have the power to cast it yet.
Okay. I'm gonna say that you can give that a try. That is gonna take the same amount of time as scribing a regular spell, and there's a chance of failure since you do not have your own mastery of the weave enough to conjure forth this level, this strength of effect yet, but you can give it a try.
I always like giving things tries.
That's
That's gonna take like 8 hours though, right?
yeah, it's gonna be like 8 hours.
Yeah, we can't stop for that at the moment. But
Not
That'll
right
be-
now, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
That'll be our merch. It'll be, you can give it a try.
Can I also peer into the well the way he did?
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Hey.
Tries one.
I had the ability to focus on the concept of displacement or strength.
I will.
So if you're lucky enough to be able to, yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah. I wonder if I'll have the same options as you, and if so, I guess I'll find out what strength is all about.
I would like to try that very much too.
Well, Tinde, can you help them as you did me?
I can. It's Are you skilled in Arcana?
Well, no.
If this requires quite a good deal of focus and may hurt if it doesn't work. Not too bad, but it may leave you with a ringing headache. If you have any ways that you can bolster your abilities.
I don't personally, perhaps.
I could give you a little bit of help if you would like. And she kind of places a hand on his shoulder and says, I think you've got this. And she's going to give him guidance.
Well, with her encouragement and my sharp mind, I'm sure I can manage.
Make an Arcana check for me with advantage from Alvatende helping. And it's a number to beat is 20.
Neat. Okay. The guidance unfortunately only gave me a 1. That makes it 16 plus my intelligence is 18. Close.
You focus in on it and you see the same. You feel the same choice presented to you, and you focus in on strength and and it's just there is a tremendous amount of strength that attempts to make itself available to you, and you're just not quite ready to or prepared to handle it, and you kind of lose focus and just get like a little bit of a nosebleed and have a ringing headache.
Wow, that was so many formulas. All right, I relent. I can't handle that.
Oh.
Working out does take proper form.
Working out with proper form is my formula.
Wow.
Ooh, well done.
This is why I married him. For this specific skill.
The ability to freestyle?
Yeah.
See, what people don't realize is we Irish are actually fey creatures, and I just basically tricked her into it with working.
That seems like maybe I wouldn't be very good at it if you weren't able to be very good at it.
You're an impressive creature, but I think that the type of intelligence this requires is likely beyond you.
I get a headache when I read some of Wade's notes, so I'm thinking that that's probably not a good indication of what I could do here.
Yeah, it was very much Wade's notes, except being shoved into your brain forcibly.
Doesn't sound
1,000 at a
very
time.
Oh.
It's a shame, though. I felt that strength was just beyond my grasp. It was at the tip of my fingers.
Maybe some other time.
Perhaps if I study up.
What is with my DMs and giving us bullshit pools that hurt us?
This entire campaign's an homage.
How do you like it?
Yeah, that's how David approaches his prep.
He hurt me with a fucking pool. I'm gonna hurt it.
Yeah, there's a book where you know something's missing from it. How do you like that? That wasn't on purpose, just for the record.
I know, it's just a coincidence, but it's hilarious. All right, well, catastrophic failure on my part. How about we move on to matters that we can actually resolve? Abatinde, have you had a chance to rest?
Not yet. I have been busy focused on this portal. I don't believe that anything is in imminent danger of coming through it at the moment.
So we should all
Anyway.
get a proper rest then.
Have you mentioned anything to her about needing to be zooped back to town?
Not yet. We were hoping that you could perform a scrying on the fort and then maybe send us back to Crystal Harbor, where we came from.
Is that a thing you can do?
So that is within my power to do. Again, much like the scrying, not until the morning, I used quite a lot of energy fighting off those things and then calling you all here.
Well, get your rest. We'll reconvene in the morning, I suppose.
All right.
We still have time to get back. We still have time. They didn't say it would take a few days.
If you left right now and started hoofing it, you can maybe make it back to town in time. Or there'll be plenty of time in the morning if you want her to teleport you.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier to wait for her to teleport us than
Yeah.
heading back.
We're in like the tower that we recovered. Is that the case?
Part of the tower. So I'm gonna take us back to the map that we were on earlier. So if you zoom way out on this map that I'm sharing, this is both floors of this structure, and that sort of collapsed pile of rubble on the bottom left-hand portion of the upper map, that's where the tower landed and is there now.
Yeah. We're in part of the main fort that the tower was a part of.
And is this the place that was like up on the mountains? Or is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's
So we have our
Where-
rooms here.
Yes.
Okay.
You do have your rooms here.
Definitely going to Annette's room.
we both reach for Nat's doorknob at the same time. And they're just like, oh.
But the bed was very large. It's fit for a giant. I mean, I don't know. Plenty of pillows. I'm just saying we've slept in smaller spaces.
As long as you're not committed to having your privacy.
I'm pretty sure I will pass right out.
Well, if it's not a bother, then.
She opens the door. She gets a little bit of a mischievous smirk on her face and goes, "Is this how one of those romantic encounters that you've had always begin?"
Not usually. Perhaps once.
Ooh. Is there a little bit of redness on your cheek?
How would you tell?
It goes purple, right? I mean, that's
A
what
little
I've
purple.
learned.
I mean, he's also a grayish blue, so it's like, would you even notice a grayish purple on a grayish blue? I don't know.
Like,
we'll use this like on a scale of.
Point to which shade you are.
I'm just
maybe-
teasing, Learas. It's we're friends. We've slept in my dome before, very much closer.
I suppose, but with others present and less of an intimate setting,
Where did
I guess it
Wade
just
go? She's like,
I
Yeah,
would-
where is Wade through all this?
I need to shut my door.
Wade's probably hanging around that purple circle area.
Cool.
So he's not even like going to a bedroom to get rest?
Not at the moment.
Right. Well,
Okay. Well. Yeah. It's. I guess I'm just used to this sort of setting having more implications. But you're right. We are friends, and it's not weird, and we've slept in close proximity many times.
I really just don't want to sleep in that. I know that Aneth put a lot of thought into the rooms that he set up for us, but
I don't really think he did.
I think he put as much thought as he could put into it.
I don't think that's true either. I listen. I feel like sometimes when people are let off the hook socially too often, they intentionally disregard others' needs and wants.
I think Aneth is a lot like me. I grew up very secluded. The only interaction that I really had was with my mother, and that wasn't always very pleasant. We did go down to Sten's Gap once in a while, but often we had a goal, and then we would want to leave very quickly. She didn't like to talk to people too much. And then I came out here on my own, and it was also overwhelming to learn all the social things from other people. There often just felt like there were things I was supposed to know that I didn't.
I agree. In fact, I've been on the other end of that from you.
I'm very sorry about that.
Now that I understand you, I understand why those misconceptions happened. But you've shown a lot of growth over the time that I've known you. Anath, however, runs a stall in town and is around people all the time and seems to be devolving.
He does also spend a lot of time talking to animals, and animals they have a whole different set of social skills that they have, it seems. You would know, you talk to animals too, right?
I can, yes.
That was very cool, by the way.
Thank you. It's just my natural connection with nature.
Is it because you're kind of like a fish? Is that me saying something that I shouldn't say again?
To some Triton, perhaps. To me, it's no offense.
Is this the part where you say some of your closest friends are fish?
Unfortunately, I have no fish friends. No, it's not to do with being a Triton, it's to do with the way I've trained.
Oh. So like Wade and his magic, and me and my connection to my father.
Yes, it's much more like yours. It's sort of a divine gift, but given to me by nature itself, by the world, my connection to it.
Oh. I think she's while they're talking, she's been like stacking all of these pillows, kind of dividing them, like she wants this one and she gives him this one. She also tries to make him comfortable by putting like some sort of buffer between the divisions that she's been making up, and pulling out her blanket from her backpack. she starts getting like comfortable for bed, taking off some of her like metallic adornments on her shoulders and her necklaces and stuff, except for her amulet that she uses to cast and the little charm that her father gave her. And as she's like settling in, thinking about this, she goes, how does it's almost like she's asking for like a bedtime story now, because you can tell she's getting sleepy. And she goes, so how do you continue to get stronger in that? Because I get all of these divine experiences, and like I deal with my father sometimes when I get stronger. And I think at that she's gonna sort of resign herself to listening to Learas' explanation of his magic.
He begins like, well, you see, there's this place at the foothills of the mountain where there is a powerful waterfall. I like to spend 6 hours sitting beneath it. Let the water impact my body, and I withstand it as though I am an opposing force of nature. And he kind of continues on to describe how he then, travels out into the woods like the other creatures and so on and so forth. But he can tell that she started to fall asleep, and as soon as he believes she's asleep, he opens up his book and just starts sketching her.
All right. It's pretty obvious when she falls asleep because she's not a quiet sleeper. She's like a disaster when she falls asleep.
And Fal, is there anything Wade would like to do before you take a long rest?
Making a stealth check. What are you doing right now?
Wade was trying to find the two, and as they were like, he peeks into the room, and Cam is clearly already asleep, and then he sees Learas in there, and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't here." I just sneak off to one of the other rooms.
Does he say anything, or is he like the Grandpa Simpsons gift where it's like he walks in and walks back out?
Well, he was walking by as Cam was like getting ready to go to sleep, and then Learas was talking, so he was just hanging outside the doorway listening, and then he noticed that Cam had fallen asleep, so like, oh, okay, let's go to another room as to not disturb the two.
The one with the dagger on the floor.
Surely there's a room untouched by a Nath somewhere.
Plenty. Mostly barren, though. All right. Everybody going down for a long rest?
Yes, please.
Need it.
Take your long rests.
So badly needed. I also get half of my hit dice back.
Yay.
Isn't the full amount because I used a bunch just in case I got in trouble. I was hurt. I was very hurt.
So the next morning finds you. It is you wake up and it's notably warmer in here than when you went to bed the previous evening.
Feywild's just pouring its hot gas into here.
That's one way to put it.
Kind of like radiant floor heating going on in Stormbreaker Bastion now.
Nice. Well, Learas isn't going to put anything on that if it's comfortably climate controlled in here. He's just going to walk around in his towel. And,
Where did you get that?
I brought it from home.
Wade was like, you can keep that one. Yeah, Cam will get ready for the day, and if Learas is still in the room, she goes, "Good morning. I hope you slept well."
Morning. First of all, David, I'm not proficient with any sort of artist tools or anything.
Sure.
I would like to roll maybe dexterity or something to determine how good this might have come out.
Sleight of hand.
Am I remembering correctly that you often sketch in your journal like the
Monsters.
creatures that you have slain and
Yes,
things like
yeah,
that?
like he tries to keep an organized collection of information and notes and stuff on all the
Yeah.
creatures that he's dealt with.
Okay. Yeah, make me what kind of check do you think that should be?
I mean, honestly, I could argue for sleight of hand, but the problem is not proficient. So it really, unless you're going to let me have thieves' tools, I'm not sure.
I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch when calligrapher's tool and artist tools or something like that already exist.
I completely agree. So I guess straight dex.
Yep. I mean, you can, sleight of hand, so it's a straight dex.
So I rolled a 3, so that is an 8.
Like a stick figure.
It's okay. I think maybe. Well, why don't you tell me exactly what it looks like? But I think you focus a little bit more on the sort of features that you would focus on if you were sketching like a monster or a beast. Like probably, and tell me what you do with that.
So I think the sketch is like he was trying to like show her like the big thigh leading into the hip, and it just kind of really came out like a horse flank more than anything.
It is recognizable as Cam, but
Yeah,
maybe a little bit of Little Joe in there too.
And he really wanted to like capture her big eyes, but because she was sleeping, he had to kind of go on memory, and it ended up being like very big, differently sized eyes.
Like anime eyes.
So it's like, it's Cam, but like, is it? But so he takes the sketch and he's like, I know it's not an etching or anything, but I had some time. And he hands it to her.
Is it just like a piece of paper?
Yeah, it's just part of his like his notebook that he sketched it in like charcoal.
She's going to look it over. She's not like, her mother is very artistic, so she's used to different
She would
interpretations.
have an eye for quality at least, but
Yeah, but her mother did very abstract work as well. So she's like looking it over. There's definitely a little bit of a glimmer of a smile. At first, it seems maybe like she's laughing at it, sort of smile, but then there's something warmer that kind of comes onto her face, and she goes, "Oh, you drew this of me."
I did. I thought that somebody should capture your visage the way somebody captured that other god's visage in the stone below.
This will be the first step to my golden statue. Thank you very much, Learas.
If you add some of your golden glitter, it might be one step further.
Like in arts and crafts now. Some glue. She shakes it off. She's going to fold it, and then you see her kind of. She doesn't know like quite where to put it, but then she gets this she grabs one of the little lockets on her many lockets, and she's going to open it up, stick it inside there. It's just like a little kind of diamond shaped locket, and then she puts it on her neck.
Well, we should get moving then. He's very purple now. He wasn't expecting that reaction, and so he like hops down off the bed, does a little stumble because it's so tall.
Yeah.
I'll scare up some breakfast, he says, and
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take a minute to get ready. She goes to dealing with her like makeup for the day.
How's Wade's morning going?
Wade is fighting the urge to try and scribe the spell, because he knows that if he's patient, that the chance of failure will either be less or non-existent.
Smart.
And then, Learas, you head out of the bedroom, walk down the hall, and head out into the main area.
Yeah.
And you see Alvatende already awake. She's looks like she's been up for a little while. She's dragging one of these Atten bodies out the front door when you walk in.
Oh, how rude of me. Let me help you with that. And he grabs like a couple of the Nothics and starts dragging them out.
I appreciate it to make it go faster. Did you sleep well?
I did, eventually.
It's getting warm in here. I think I'm going to get used to that.
I noticed that as well. Are you comfortable?
Oh, very much so. I would have big fires roaring in the fireplaces back in before. This is much more convenient.
It does make things easy, but at what point will it become too much, I wonder?
I can control the weather a little bit. I think I'll manage.
Okay. Is there any way to control what else might come through that gate?
That might take some time to understand. At least at the moment, it seems as inert as a portal to the Feywild can be. I'm very interested to see what's on the other side.
You should take the proper precaution. There are dangerous things in the Feywild.
Yes, there are.
But when I was less experienced, my claim to fame was slaying a sea egg that plaguing Crystal Harbor.
No small feat. Those can cause quite a lot of trouble.
They can. Fortunately, it was wounded and did not expect a water-breathing hunter to come search her out in her lair.
A bold move.
I didn't want to give her time to recover.
A wise move as well.
As I said, with enough preparation.
Exactly. Speaking of preparation, I am ready to attempt to scry and send you all wherever you need to go whenever you are ready.
That is music to my ears. I was going to search out some breakfast, but I suppose supplies are still not exactly in order here.
Not the most well-stocked larder yet, I'm afraid.
Rations it is, then. I'll gather the others.
And she'll tell you which room to meet her. She'll tell you to meet her in that sort of big room where you had the upstairs fight yesterday, whenever you all are ready.
The uppies fight.
Yes.
Office is just our thing now.
That's the thing now, and you can hear some furniture being moved as you go off to get the rest of the crew.
Where do I find Wade, by the way? No thought given.
I mean, you would have to know. I mean, you'd have to track him down.
Is Wade attempting to hide?
No, he's just in one of the other bedrooms.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't relay that information, so he wouldn't.
Yeah, so he's just like checking each door, trying to give Cam as much time as possible, hoping to have Wade with him when he goes to collect her as well. But,
there are only a certain amount of doors here. You will eventually find him.
Wade, are you ready?
Or
Alvatinde's wanting us to gather.
oh, yes.
Do you sleep well?
I suppose. Did you?
I did.
How did your sketch turn out?
Oh, you saw that.
I didn't see the sketch. I just saw that you were sketching something.
Truthfully, I don't think it came out so well. I'm used to sketching monsters. But here's the weird thing. She put it in her locket and wore it around her neck. That means something, right?
Later, there's
Usually
gonna be a note.
Usually actions have meanings behind them.
Does that action have a meaning behind it?
I mean, it has a meaning behind it, but whatever meaning that is, you would have to ask Cam herself.
You're evading my question like a Unuran assassin. No,
I know the answer that you want to hear, but it is not an answer I can give you.
All right. Well, point well made then. If I received a sketch that looked like that, I would have, offered an insincere thanks and shoved it in my bag, never to look at it again. It surprised me.
Would that answer change if it were a sketch from someone you cared about?
Well, that's sort of the question I'm asking.
Then I shouldn't be the one that you are asking.
That is true. My mind is heavy with many details right now, and I just am feeling like focusing on other things, and then you asked, and then you breached the dam. So, torn, rushed forth. Let's go collect her and see Alvatinde.
So we shall.
Yeah, they collect Cam.
Good morning, Wade. I hope you slept well. I really, really hope you didn't sleep in that wet room.
That's not where I found him. So.
Oh, so we have a lot to do today.
We've always had a lot to do. It just keeps piling on.
You're not wrong about that. I feel like since I've met you, it's just been one thing after another.
Hey, if you ask me, our list got shorter yesterday. Just by the very fact that these problems are linked to the same source. I think we've made great progress.
Well, that's a very positive outlook. I'm glad to see that you're finally um, opening up a little bit better to traveling with us. I know that we were a bit of a headache when we first met.
It's not that you were a headache, it's that the problems you were creating were becoming a headache.
That kind of sounds like the same thing, doesn't it, Wade?
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's a more positive take on it.
I'd also like to reassess my perspective on those problems. You freed a giant who has become our greatest ally.
That one did work out for us. I'm very glad and relieved about that.
The dragon sculpture had nothing to do with the problems that not Broxel's, the other one.
Oh,
Lloyd
brilliance and
Bubbles.
bubbles.
Yes. So it seems that we are now at a point where most of our problems were caused by other sources, and it seems like we've consolidated that down into one source. I'm feeling very positive. I think that we've got a clear path ahead of us, and we can take down whoever's taken over Fort Oss and become the heroes of Crystal Harbor.
Oh, and then get a statue made in our honor. Or like at least a carving engraved into a wall.
It would be a step up.
Maybe one day my mother will be the one making statues of me.
I think she'd have to I think perhaps she would be challenged with that.
Oh, why do you think that?
I guess I just don't understand sculptors. We should really go.
Oh, yeah, I don't really understand them either. They always just as they're going down the hallway, she goes on a little tangent about like it always just kind of looked like a bunch of shapes just smushed together and then painted over, and then suddenly everyone and she just kind of trails off. You can hear it down the hallway as they enter the room where Alpha Tende is.
Well, first scrying, and then I need to send you on your way, yes?
That's the plan.
All right. Is there anything in particular you would like me to look for? She's pulled a table and a chair in here and has sat a crystalline orb on this table and has got her hands on either side of it.
Wade, what do you think?
Probably to see whomever it. I mean, we don't know if they are holed up in the fort, but I imagine we should see what leader is there.
Yes.
You know, if it's Kelp Sucks or
Kelp sucks.
Hashtag Kelp sucks.
Bold take from the water genasi.
Right?
or if it's a new person. I don't. I imagine that's what we should focus on. Granted, I hope that you have some sort of protections up this time that we didn't consider last time.
I will be, at the very least, not surprised should something like that happen again.
Cam, is your ability helpful in this situation?
Which one?
The one where you help people do things.
Oh, I like that when I say and she's going to like reach her hand towards Elvatende. When I say things like, "Oh, you've got this."
Yes.
gonna cast guidance.
Right. Let's see. There we go. There's the die I need.
I also do have that protection spell that you had requested. I don't know if that is helpful.
Which spell was that?
The one that protects from any like evil entities. I really don't know if that's a benefit.
Can you cast it on Elvitinde?
She's gonna do that. She uses it's powdered silver as the thing. Okay, she has that.
Perfect.
Just get that falling out of her pockets.
She has some glitter. She just kind of. I'm sorry. It's really hard to get out.
Oh, and I am familiar with this ritual. All right. So she is going to scry. She's going to pick a place inside of Fort Oss and cast scrying.
She's scrying inside of us.
And she focuses in on this orb. Her eyes kind of gloss over with like cloudiness that mimics the roiling energy inside of the sphere as she focuses in on it. And you can, I guess all of you are attuned to magic in some way, so you can feel some of the power that's being given off in this scrying ritual. She's focusing very intensely, maybe encountering a little bit of resistance, and just stays there staring into it for a minute silently.
It's not one of those situations where we could see what's being seen in the. It's all here.
You can try and make a perception check if you would like.
I don't know. Like Cam does look into it. I don't expect that she will see.
Okay, we can try.
I'll
You don't
roll.
have to. You can decide that Cam doesn't see anything. That's fine.
She got an 18 on that.
Okay, yeah, you can make out little flickers of images. You can see a large, like a quick fleeting glimpse of a large empty hall with just like piles of bones on the floor. And with an 18, it lingers on this hall for a moment, and it looks... you can see something moving, can't quite tell what it is, then it flickers into another scene, a different room, just moving around to different places. She comes back out after another couple of minutes. Somebody has claimed it. I don't know who. I did not see any identifiable individual, but there's signs of activity.
Maybe they have spells protecting them from being seen, or
Could just be bad luck. I must pick a point and focus on it and can only see a short distance around it. There was one of those creatures, the two-headed, formerly Edens, wandering around on a pathway made between piles of bone. So
it is good to know for certain with that.
your hypothesis is confirmed.
Yes.
There, Learas.
Any Mistglow prism?
Ooh, that's a good thought. That's that crystal you've... Yes. Roll for that again. None to be seen in the areas that I saw. The fortress is quite large, and I focused on what I believe back in its height of power, used to be the throne room and the Great Hall.
I see.
At least there was none there. I know there to be a subterranean level as well.
Anything else unusual? Anything of note?
It was very strange being back there. The fact that there is activity there at all is of note and concern, and that these these creatures are coming from there.
Of course.
For what it's worth, it didn't seem to have the trappings of an occupied settlement, much like if you were to scry here, it would look largely abandoned, even though I am living here and you have visited many times.
Perhaps it's a muster point of some kind to travel through.
Perhaps, or maybe you have caught them early. They've only recently taken up residence.
That could be beneficial to us.
That would be incredible if that were so.
What concerns me, though, is if we truly have caught them so early, why already make a move for the portal?
Depending on where it was going, there could be any number of reasons. If I was unable, perhaps they did not know about our association. If I was unable to call for your help, I would not have been able to stop their ritual.
Yes, but look at how many you slayed in the process. If I were attempting to form an army to storm the Feywild, I would not storm the fort that harbors the portal until I could overwhelm them with numbers immediately.
Exactly. And for that reason, I must agree that, I don't remember who, one of you speculated that their ultimate destination was not the Feywild, but to use this existing portal, or the place where a portal was, to alter it, twist it, and direct it somewhere else that would be inherently easier, especially if you were trying to create a large portal.
I see. So the first goal was to possibly increase the size of their army.
That could be the case. I think I'm convinced that this wave of assailants that was sent after me were sent as a distraction, so I could not stop them.
Then I hope you're right. I hope we are lucky, we've caught them early, and that we can wipe out what forces they have there before they have a chance to regain a foothold.
Much preparation to do.
Yeah, I find myself uneasy with how easy a solution that is. But
let us
perhaps I'm
hope,
just used to being unlucky.
Let us hope that it is that easy, but prepare for it to be much more difficult.
Agreed. Well, on that note, we have allies to make in the city.
Very good. Just stand there, and she points towards a runic circle that is partially scrawled on the floor. I got a head start. I'll finish this up, and you're just back to the center of town? Anywhere in particular?
Anywhere in the city's fine.
All right. Anything else to do here before she puts the finishing touches on the anchoring runes on this teleportation circle?
Because time is of the essence, we won't be passing through Sten's Gap, obviously, but we will send word. Hopefully, Alexandra will send men out your way to do the excavation.
Very good. I appreciate that. All right, get ready.
Sailor Moon transformation.
And with a final scribe of some chalk on the ground, the runes alight, and you find yourself thrust through space into the center of town in Crystal Harbor. And I think that's where we'll pick up 2 weeks from now.